Hey everyone, sorry I was silent there. Um, I was adjusting my laptop to get my pretty much my mask or phase, whatever you want to say, in view. As you can read from the title, I am reviewing one that's called One. I If I decide to switch titles to Chakushin Ari or Shakurari. Um, I'm not good at speaking Japanese, so yeah. All I know is Moshoshe, Konnichiwa, and Hey are all hello. But these movies actually helped me out learn a little bit of Chinese. Not Chinese, Japanese. But anyways, uh, if it was a Chinese movie, that would be a different story. But anyways, one was called the trilogy. All three movies I thought were fun. Um, I have no problems with any of the movies whatsoever. They do not drag for me. Like, they're pretty long movies, but they go by at a quick pace. Maybe that's why I like them so much. They get straightforward and to the point within a couple minutes. So, yeah. So, the one I'm talking about is the first one. For those wondering, there's the original cover right here. It's got hopefully I pronounced her name right. Kao Shibazaki or Shibasaki. Uh, how do you pronounce her name? Kao Shibasaki. Uh, she's got the cell phone. She's got the cell phone in hand, and she's got Mamiko's mother in the background. Um, all three movies are two discs. But anyways, uh, let's get on with what this film is about. This these group of college kids are exchanging numbers and everything. They're getting invited to pretty much hanging out. Pretty much gonna get invited to a beach party, from what I gathered. And I've seen this movie a lot of times. Um, and what happens is when they're exchanging numbers, uh, Yumi, our main star, played very well by Kao Shibazaki, or Shibasaki, however you pronounce the name. Man, I am terrible at pronouncing people's names. Sorry. Leave me a comment down below if you know how to pronounce your name and put parentheses for the pronunciation and everything. Um, anyways, uh, Yumi and her friend Yoko are in the bathroom just talking. Yoko is in the stall just doing her business, and her cell phone rings. And here's where the creepy stuff starts to happen. Um, what creepy, like subtle creepiness. Um, what ends up happening? Yumi ends up picking up the phone and saying, "Yoko, your phone," and Yoko says, "Who's calling?" And that's not my ringtone. And what ends up happening is Yumi says, "Well, it's your phone," and it just shows a random number. And when Yoko comes out of the stall, she ends up looking at the phone, and it's her own number. And man, it does take a while. Uh, Pretty much, the phone call is yourself, uh, and it's pretty much foretelling what day you're gonna die. Most of the deaths are 2 days after they get the call, so it moves by at a pretty quick pace. Like I said, Yoko, I like the character. I have a couple of friends who remind me a little bit of Yoga. Um, she's like kind of on the ditzy side, like always looking at her cell phone, playing around with it, texting and whatever. Talking about beach parties and whatever, just the normal stuff. But anyways, uh, the call pretty much it's like, oh no, it's raining, and then about 2 seconds, you hear this loud scream, and then pretty much they go back to the table. Yoko and Yumi, they go back to the table, and they're exchanging their numbers, and another one of their friends gets the death call as it's called in the script. Um, and she's like, I didn't download this ringtone. And the people are like, maybe you did it by accident. And what ends up happening, uh, no, that's actually in the second one, but anyways, uh, sorry, I just watched the second one. I've seen all three movies a good amount of times, so yeah, I might get some of the movies mixed up. But anyways, uh, Yoko, on the day she's about to die, uh, she ends up walking down the street. I don't know where she's going. They might have said the destination, but I don't remember. Um, and she's talking about buying a swimsuit for a guy that she likes. Like she wants to buy like a bikini for herself and like get him interested, if you know what I'm saying. But anyways, uh, she's walking and she gets to the train tracks and she ends up hearing like an inhaler, and she ends up getting like a water sprinkle on her hand, and she's like, "Oh no, it's raining!" And then 4 seconds, she turns around after she hears the sound, and she ends up screaming the. I have to spoil this bit. Uh, it's not really a spoiler because it's at the beginning of the movie. The gate ends up opening up, uh, and she ends up falling down the train tracks. The train pretty much rips her arm off. And this movie is not very gory, by the way, so sorry if this does sound gory. Rips her arm off and rips her leg off. And it ends up taking a really good close up shot of her hand dialing the phone, and the camera pans out a little bit, and you just see that it's a severed arm about this length, like up near, maybe closer to the wrist. But anyways, you've got some good effects in this. Yeah, there's some CGI here and there, but most of it's practical. And this movie's not very gory, but the gore that's there is pretty decent. Um, so one after another, they're pretty much being picked off one by one, and uh, you end up finding out why each person ends up hearing an inhaler sound. Um, I'm gonna spoil this right now because it leads right into the second one. So brace yourselves. If you don't want to hear the spoiler, then fast forward to around, I'd say, since it's 9 minutes in, I'd say about 12 minutes. Fast forward like 12 minutes to 12 minutes. But anyways, we end up finding out. that this little girl has a teddy bear, and it plays the ringtone of the death call. And what ends up happening is you find out there's this sister, his her sister, her big sister Mamiko kept on abusing her, cutting her, uh, causing her causing her harm, digesting thumbtacks, stuff like that. And the mother gets blamed for all this. And Mamiko ends up stealing her mom's phone, and uh, while she's abusing the little girl, I forget her name. Uh, I mean, Miko's little too, but anyways, Mamiko ends up pretty much dying of an asthma attack, and her soul gets transported to the South Link. So, anyways, enough spoilers. Yep. So, anyways, what do I think of One Missed Call? It's a great movie. Definitely worthy of a franchise. Um, did it deserve all the hate it got? Uh, Even the remake got a lot of hate, and I think the remake's a pretty good movie in its own right. I'm not comparing it to this, the original series, but I think the 2008 release was an alright film. But that was more jump scares than anything. But anyways, what do I think of One Missed Call numero uno? Um, it came out in 2003. Sorry, I'm stalling, but it came out in 2004, but it was made in 2003, so I'm gonna put 2003 in the title. But anyways, I give it a 9 out of 10. Some people are gonna say, well, that's too high, man. I will say why I like it so much. It had a good message behind it, like technology being evil and whatever. Yeah, I'm not too tech. I'm not that smart about technology, but I am smart about the internet and everything. And the only pieces of technologies I really have are my TV, my video game systems, and my laptop. So yeah. So uh, I'm not that big tech heavy or anything, but I don't believe in cell phones, so yeah. But the whole, like, I understand what Takashi Miike was trying to do, or Miike Takashi. If you're over in Japan, you say the names backwards. I know, last name first, first name last. Um, but anyways, what ends up happening at the end of the day, I think it's well deserving of a 9 out of 10. And the things I liked about it, the message, pretty much saying that technology pretty much can ruin your life. Child abuse is a really evil thing, and it can happen with kids abusing kids, not just uh, an adult abusing a kid. Um, I also like the fact that the acting was on par in all three films, so yeah, I like that. Um, Good practical effects mixed in with a little bit of CGI. Contortionist scenes, yes. I'm gonna say number five for all of the remaining films. Contortionist scenes always creeps me out. So yeah, you got a contortionist scene in each of the films. So yeah, um, the deaths are pretty creative, and the whole movie kept me entertained throughout. I wasn't bored even for a minute. It went by at a cool, quick pace, And I thought it was a cool idea that a killer cell phone was pretty cool, even though the cell phone isn't the thing that's killing you. So, 7 things I like about this, and that's why I think it's deserving of a 9 out of 10. So, if anybody wants to see this movie, pick it up off of Amazon for $5, brand new. You can get this for $5, the One Missed Call trilogy, or you can buy them separately, uh, $5 for each one. But anyways, it gets a 9 out of 10. Um, and if you don't want to cough up the money and buy this, they got all 3 movies here on YouTube. Thankfully, a bunch of uploaders uploaded the first one in 2 versions. They uploaded it in a dubbed version and the original Japanese version, which is split into parts, 8 parts to be exact. I got the playlist on YouTube, which I'm gonna delete because hell, I finally got a physical copy of the movie, so might as well. The second one, they only got it in the Japanese language only. I have not seen it in the English dub on YouTube. Uh, One Missed Call Final, which is my favorite one. They only have it in the Japanese version on YouTube, but all 3 of these films come with an English dub. You can watch them in the English dubbed in 5.1 surround sound or 2.0 stereo. You can watch it in Japanese 5.1 Dolby Digital or 2.0 stereo. It comes with 2 sets of subtitles, Slates and English, or Slates and English. The only thing I'd say bad about the DVD release is there's no audio commentary. I would have loved to have heard uh, the thoughts on what the stars have to say about this movie. Because did they know that this would get a lot of hate, but at the same time get so much love with a cult following? So, anyways, I'll be back with a review of One Missed Call 2. Peace.